Welcome back to Lock and Reload. So I'm going to impose a question on you, and I'm going to answer it to my best ability. The AK-47 or the SKS, whatever variant it may be. It's a pretty loaded question. Basically it comes down to the specific individual opinion. There are people that love the SKS and hate the AK-47. There are people that love the AK-47 and think the SKS is a piece of shit. This is my non-biased opinion about the SKS and the AK-47. To summarize, at the beginning of this video, they're both fine firearms. I don't necessarily have a preference. They both function outstandingly. They both are very reliable. They're both simple to maintain. They are both functional. They both do the job that it was designed to do. That being said, there are better points of the SKS over the AK, and there are better points of the AK over the SKS. I'm basing this whole video on my experience shooting both of these, because as you know, I own both of them. And I'm going to get this out of the way before I continue on. If you think you are going to shoot a video about a firearm, whether you like it or dislike it, please, whether you own it or not, please shoot it. Handle it. Shoulder it. Look at it. You can get a broader perspective on it. There are so many YouTube videos and so many channels out there that will dog an AR platform rifle, and they'll say an AK-47 is a piece of shit. They will say a Mini 14 is a piece of shit, or a Mini 30 is a piece of shit, or the SKS is a piece of shit. But come to find out with a lot of these channels that they don't really care for these rifles, but they've never shot in them. They've never handled them. I'm lucky if some of these people have even looked at one. They're going by what other people say. And I can't necessarily condone going by what other people say. Now, going by their opinions and what they think about it, that's fine. But outright going on somebody else's assumption because they either had a bad experience or a good experience, you need to experience certain firearms for yourself. Does that mean go out and buy one? Yes, but if you can prevent that, if you honestly are up in the air about a firearm, find somebody who has one, and if you don't, maybe you can find a gun shop that will let you test fire. And I wish in the state of Wisconsin we had more of that. Because honestly, it is what it is. But anyways, the AK-47 or the SKS? That is the question. Well, first off, I did a review on both of these rifles. But I'm going to put and you can't put any firearm in the same category as another firearm because they're two different platforms. But that being said, the AK-47 and the SKS are probably the closest when it comes to design functionality. First and foremost, they both shoot the same cartridge. They both chamber the 7.6239, which is great. Obviously, the SKS was the first one to chamber that, and then the AK-47 followed suit. It's a great cartridge. That's why the Russians kept with it. Now, the brighter points of the SKS. The first thing that I like about the SKS over the AK-47 is it has a milled receiver. Now, there's a downfall to having a milled receiver. Weight. The SKS is going to outweigh the AK-47 by a lot. Because of that milled receiver and usually the military configuration. This SKS isn't your standard SKS. I mean, it's a variant, but this one weighs a little bit more than most of your SKSs because this one not only has more hardware on it, I personally believe it's a better built gun. Generally, your better built guns are going to weigh a little bit more, but not in all cases, if that makes any sense. But like I said, this one's got a milled receiver. Do I believe the milled receiver shoots better than the stamped steel receiver? Again, it depends on who you're talking to. I personally think the SKS is a little bit more accurate than the AK, but your mileage may vary. It depends on the rifle. It depends on the shooter. Usually it depends on the shooter and how dialed in you've got. The AK-47, I like the fact that it's really light. It's easy to manipulate the action. Just like the SKS, it's very simple in design. It's easy to clean. They both have similar actions, honestly. They're both similar. The SKS has a few more moving parts than the AK. Their sight aperture, or their sight rate, or their sight parallax is about the same. They both have adjustable parallax rear sights. They both have the same concept as a front sight. If you look at the AK, I mean, it's not quite the bird cage, but you have ears on each side of the sight post, if you can see that. Versus the SKS has quite literally a bird cage. But that being said, you can interchange when it comes to using the sight tool for it. You can use the SKS sight tool, and that same tool you can also use on the AK-47. So that's kind of cool in design. I like the takedown of the AK a little bit better. I think it's a little more simple. You have less moving parts. They both have right around the same amount of aftermarket parts for them. You can buy all kinds of aftermarket parts for the SKS and the AK-47. In my opinion, the action is a little bit more, it's a little bit smoother on the SKS versus the AK-47. But a lot of people wonder which firearm is more robust, the SKS or the AK-47. You know what? And that's a hard call. They're very robust in design, but I believe, not by much, I believe the AK-47 wins that. Your SKS will have a tendency to jam before an AK-47. Not saying AK-47s have never jammed, but it's very few and far between. You can run this in so many more diverse conditions and whatnot, and when it comes to reliability, I believe the AK wins as far as reliability. The SKS is a very, very highly reliable firearm. I haven't had this thing malfunction yet. I haven't had the AK-47 malfunction yet. I haven't had it go into failure to feed, failure to go into battery. Likewise with the SKS. This one hasn't failure to feed or failure to go to the battery. Price points. They're both pretty comparable as far as price, but there are many more variances of the AK-47 out there. Like this one is my Wazir 10. Obviously there are way better firearms than the Wazir 10, but I'm very happy with this rifle. You get into your arsenals, and your arsenals will run you at, $800-900 depending on who you buy it from. Versus like the Yugoslavian SKS, you can get a unissued and unfired for right around $379, $329. I got mine at an awesome deal. Tapco makes awesome furniture for the SKS and makes awesome furniture for the AK-47. So there are more variances of the AK-47 than there are the SKS. This is a more widely used firearm. When it comes to price points and ammunition, they're about the same. They both take the same cartridge. Now when it comes to magazines, the AK-47 is going to win as far as magazines. Not only capacity of magazines, because your standard AK mag is 30. A 30 round magazine, but the availability of the magazines for an AK-47 are going to be far superior over the SKS. Reason being, the SKS was originally designed for a 10-round internal mag. The reason I bring up magazines is because mine isn't. I have an aftermarket Tapco 20-round external box mag. These are going to be a lot more expensive. These magazines for the SKS are going to be far more expensive than like your Eastern Bloc AK mag. I do have a 10-round Tapco mag for my AK for sighting in purposes, deer hunting, you name it. Everybody needs a 10-round mag for something. So when it comes to firepower, the AK wins. It can hold more ammunition. It was designed for a 30-round mag. A lot of people don't like to use the 20-round external mags for the SKS because, quite frankly, the SKS wasn't designed to accept a 20-round magazine. But that being said, I haven't had a problem yet. I mean, that might come on later on down the road. But then again, Tapco makes high quality stuff, so it's tough, rugged, and whatnot. So overall, and don't get me wrong, this is in my non-biased opinion, and overall, they're both awesome weapons. But what it comes down to, if you're looking for something reliable, something inexpensive to shoot, something you can get more for less. And what I mean more for less is everything from aftermarket furniture to magazines to the rifle itself. The AK is going to win almost every time. Not because the SKS is a piece of junk. The SKS is a fine rifle. And in a lot of cases, I enjoy shooting the SKS a little bit more than the AK-47. But the AK-47 is a little bit more robust in design. You can get better. You can get more accessories for an AK than you can an SKS. And what I mean is more or less magazines. So in conclusion to this video, I believe the AK-47 wins, not by much. Accuracy, in my eyes and in my test, the SKS is a little bit more accurate than the AK, but it depends on the AK-47. This SKS will shoot this outshoot this Wazzer 10, flat out, and this Wazzer 10 is pretty flippin' accurate. And the last note, the one thing, and this is just my SKS versus my Wazzer 10. My Wazzer 10 is chrome lined. It has a chrome lined barrel. My Yugoslavian does not. Yugoslavia does not have chromium deposits. So in that aspect, for cleaning purposes, the AK will win that too, because this is not a chrome line. But this is just this particular rifle. You could have a Norinco. That one's chrome lined. The Romanian SKS is usually a chrome line too, I believe. So, to answer your question and to stress my opinion and to show my opinion and my thoughts on the AK over the SKS, I believe the AK-47 wins. But, at any rate, this is Lock and Reload with Ryan with your AK or your SKS. Catch you later.